Hey everyone, welcome back to yet another video, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create a more advanced Afro House track in FL Studio. In this video I'm going to use my new Afro House Chemistry producer bundle. So if you like the samples which I'm going to use in this tutorial, make sure to check out the link in the description. And the FLP from this video will also be available in the free version of the Chemistry producer bundle. And of course there will also be some free samples in this bundle. So I hope you enjoyed this video, so let's get started. So for Afro House the BPM is 120. So I would always start off by picking this BPM, and later on you could maybe adjust it. So maybe adjust it to, for example, 118 or 121. So in this case, first I'm going to start off with the drums. And in most of the cases when I build those beats, I start off with the drums and later on add some piano chords and some melodies which fits the rhythm of the drums. So I think in this case is the easiest way how to start creating a beat like this. So I'm going to use the Chemistry producer bundle. First I'm going to start off by picking some loops. So I'm going to select samples and loops, and let's start off with the shaker loop, which is basically the foundation for an Afro House track. So for example, pick this one, shaker 18. As you can see, it's already leveled, so in most of the cases you don't have to adjust any of the volumes. So I'm picking a shaker loop, I'm picking a kick. So let's pick this one, 13, and I'm going to add it at C right here. Then I'm going to copy it over. I'm going to create an 8-bar loop or 8-bar sequence. So Control C, Control B. Starting off the beat using those two elements. Right now I'm going to add some more percussion loops. So in this case I'm opening up the folder percussion loops right here. Just picking this one, this conga loop, so just drag it in. It already stretches to the tempo of the project. In this case we have to adjust the volume, so make sure it's in the background. Okay, so that's it. Right now we want to add a texture, and I think this is one of the easiest ways how to create a full sounding track. So I'm adding a texture. So let's say we add texture 1, we copy it over, and in the end we have to adjust the key of the texture to the chord progression which we're going to add, but we're going to adjust that later on. So first I'm going to, of course, reduce the volume because right now it's just way too loud. Okay, so I think that's it. Maybe right now contains too much high frequency, so I'm going to adjust the EQ. So I'm just adding the high frequencies. Okay, so that's it. So the next step is to add some more percussions. And in this case, we're gonna create them from scratch. And we're gonna try to make them as organic as possible. So at first I'm starting off, let's say with a cymbal. For example, a head, this one. I'm gonna select unsorted right here. And I want to pick a snappy and short head. So for example, this one. So I'm dragging this one in like this. Let's say we add 4 notes, so let's zoom in a little bit. And then we're going to create a sequence like this. So we're making some adjustments to the velocity or volume. So right now it sounds like this, still very sequenced. I want to make it sound a little bit more organic, so we're going to press Option R, and then let's say we adjust the velocity, and then adjust the velocity to your preference. Okay, so that's it. Still sounds very, very simple. So now it's time to add some percussions, which contain some low, mid, and maybe some high frequencies. So I'm going to open up the percussions folder, and we're going to percussion 36, and I think 37. So we're keeping it very simple. So we could add a percussion right here or right here. So those are basically the two main rhythms which you have to focus on when adding a percussion like this. So let's have a listen. But you could also add it right here, for example. Doesn't matter that much. So in this case, I'm going to add it right here. And then I'm going to add the second percussion, which contains some more low frequencies. Because this one, I think contains some mid-high frequencies. So when adding the drums, make sure you add all kinds of drums which fill up a certain frequency spectrum. So in the end, this will make it sound way more professional. So in the end, I came up with this rhythm. So right now we have to add another one. So I think right now it sounds too empty. So adding this one. So I think later on I'm gonna add some reverb on this element. Oh, now it's still missing something. So I think I'm going to add a clap. So let's pick this weird one. So basically sounds like a percussion. So when creating this sample, I think I basically destroyed a clap sample to create something like this. But in this case, I think it sounds very unique. Okay, so I think that's it. We've built the main foundation for the Afro House track. So now I'm going to add some chords. So I'm going to use a piano plugin. In this case, I'm going to use the Piano V3 from Arturia, which is an amazing plugin. So now I set the scale to E minor. So I'm going to drag in a root note. So as you can hear, the texture doesn't go very well together. So the texture is in C, so I have to pitch it up. So from C4, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 notes up. So we open up the texture, plus 400 cents. That's it. And we copy this, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. So let's pick an E 1 octave up from E4 to E5, and then add this B. Okay, so I want to add something in between right here. Now we just have to make some adjustments. So for example, G, D, and let's leave it like this. I'm gonna reduce the brightness a little bit. So I've pitched down the chord progression 1 octave, and right now it sounds like this. Took me a while to tweak this one. So I think it sounds really, really dope. So right now I want to add a layer on top, which is a very, very simple also keys layer. So I haven't used this one in a while, the Stage 73 version 2. And let's use the clean mark. I think this preset blends very well together with almost all elements. So open it up. I'm gonna create something like this. So very, very simple. And then also let's randomize it. So bipolar, and then play around with the velocity until the brightness just sounds good. And also adjust the length. So I'm going to select a magnet, and then I'm going to select none right here. And right now we could basically adjust the length of the notes very, very precisely. Okay, that sounds way much better. So by playing around with the velocity, I made it very, very dynamic. I mean, nothing sounds the same right here, and that's exactly the goal. So I want to create a track which is as organic as possible, and I think it's a really great fit for this genre. So now a simple layer which we have to add is a bassline. So I'm going to use Serum, and I'm going to use some of the presets from the Keinemusik producer bundle. So I'm going to open up Serum presets and check out this one. So I think I'm going to use this one. This bass sounds so good. So I'm going to draw in the root notes. So I'm going to start off right here at E. I'm going to make sure I select a line again. So make sure everything is sequenced. This one sounds too low, so I'm gonna adjust it to G. Goes so well together. And we could also pitch this one up to, for example, C. Make it just a little bit more interesting. But this is something we could also apply when arranging the beat, just to make it more interesting. So now I want to pick a short plug sound. So it's also in the Keinemusik producer bundle. So I've also sampled some synths. So they're right here. So let's pick synth 1. I'm gonna make it a little bit, we're gonna reduce the length of the sample by adjusting the out. And the sample is also in C, as all the other samples, and you could also play it in the key of your track very easily. So I've created this rhythm. And of course we have to add some reverb. So in this case, let's add it right now. So I'm gonna link all those elements to the mixer. Later on, I'm gonna organize them again. So for example, synth 1, and then let's add some reverb. So I like to use the Valhalla Vintage Verb. White reverb with some decay. Open up the high cut all the way. And maybe reduce the bass a little bit, because I think right now it's way too loud. Then I want to add some swing to make it sound a little bit more humanic. So not all the sounds are played sequence. So again, this makes it more organic. Just a little bit. And right now we have to add some more percussions for the main part of the track. So I'm gonna open up percussions again. So let's add percussion 13 and 16. So I like those wide toms. So I'm dragging in this rhythm and I pitch it down 2 notes. So right now it's playing in A sharp. So this is probably the sample you're looking for. So it's all included in the Keinemusik producer bundle. So we're now adding this one. Sounds very sharp and very punchy, so we have to make sure it's not that present in the mix. And later on, I'm going to add some more reverb to some of the elements to make sure it blends very well together, because for now I think maybe it sounds a little bit too dry. So for now, simply we're going to add some effects. So a simple downlifter, something you always have to add. And make sure you don't add too much volume. So it should always be in the background at addition. So maybe at 3 or 4%. Maybe let's add a crash right here, also in the background. And make sure we reduce the volume. So I think that's it. So I'm recording for a while right now, and I'm going to finish this beat myself and show you the final result. So just finished up this beat, and I think the outcome is very, very cool. So I've added some more layers. So for example, this chord, which is playing right here, is basically playing the same chord progression, but right now it's playing something which goes upwards, and it immediately changes the whole vibe of the track. So let's have a listen. Also added the pluck. So that's it. And right now I'm also going to show you the plug sound which I've used. It's also a preset from the Keinemusik producer bundle, which is called Plug Feel. And I think it's great to use it in, for example, your bridges or transitions. Just came up with this melody at random. I've also switched up the keys right here. Just to make it a little bit more interesting, I think it's a great addition. And I've also used another synth sound, which I think sounds so much better. And also made sure it sounds very dynamic and groovy, so I think it's a great addition to this project. And I also applied the same mixture structure as I applied to my previous Afro House tutorials. But if you want to check out how I've mixed this project, make sure to download the free preview, because the FLP will be in there. So right now I think that's it, and I'm going to show you the final result. So I'm going to start off right here, because otherwise it's going to take too long, but enjoy, guys. So as you can hear, the clean mark keys, it's building up right here. I've added this automation. Switching up the clean mark, I think it sounds cool. So great counter melody. I think it goes very well together. Also the synth, very unique. I think adding some vocals on top would be amazing. You can hear the clean mark coming in again. And this sequence is basically repeating 3 times during the track. So now some more drums coming in. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Also make sure to let me know in the comments where you're watching this video from. And I also would like to hear what you want to see in the next video. So for example, you want me to create something very similar to a certain track, make sure to let me know. And with all this being said, I hope you have a great day. I hope you create some awesome Afro House tracks, and I hope to see you next week.